Like Paul, Don Coen grew up in rural Colorado and remembers not only the hard work, but also how his parents encouraged him to think beyond the family farm and follow his impulse to create art. That early life became his inspiration for powerful depictions of the American plains and the people who live there, a chronicle that Coen captures in his own unique style. The soft focus invites your eye to look closely. Stand farther away from the large-scale work and you get the whole picture. The artist bringing this Western creature to life has developed a painting technique of pure Western ingenuity.
I have hundreds of images on my iPad. There's a special program that I can use where I can reverse the image. We'll turn it a little bit more. You know, there's a lot of horses and cows out in the country. In fact, I guess I've done a lot of cows because one time I was down in Boulder and somebody said, "Oh, this is Don Coen," and the lady said, "Oh my God, you're the cow man." I'm just adjusting the projector so I can see the image in the front.
Don Coen has photographed and painted the West all his life. Among his earliest memories of the rustic farm where he grew up is drawing at the kitchen table, often by candlelight.
When I'm doing a big painting, I have a different airbrush, and I take this airbrush and I take the tip off of it so that it'll shoot a big dot pattern.
His interest in art started early. He went on to study the major artists, including the West as depicted by Frederick Remington. While teaching in Boulder, Colorado, he even ventured into abstract for several years. It was on a trip back to his family home that he began to think of a saga told through images, which would become the Lamar series, named for the town in rural eastern Colorado.
When I decided to do the Lamar series, I thought, how many paintings would it take me to make a basic statement about what rural America is like? And I started making a list of things, and I came up with 15. One of the images I wrote down was rattlesnake, because I had tremendous number of experience with rattlesnakes as a kid. And then I said, how will I paint it? And I said, up close and personal, just the way I experienced it.
The Lamar series earned Coen recognition throughout the world. Museums and other collectors moved to acquire his unique views of the contemporary American West. After that, he turned his eye to the people who are so vital to the agricultural way of life for his Migrant series.
I was up in Greeley, and I was photographing these cows. And I turned around, and I was right next to a field, and there were some migrants sitting on some sacks of onions. They'd just finished sacking all the onions. And I looked at that image, and I thought, wow, that's a beautiful image. The light was shining through this guy's bandana. And I just thought, okay, these people do this incredibly difficult work, and nobody knows who they are. Nobody knows what they do, and so I want to make a statement for them. So I did.
Making that statement has given Coen great satisfaction. He also feels an obligation to continue to paint the people and places he knows so well.
The people that have experienced the Western life like I did, they're probably dying off. And so I don't know how many people are going to end up being artists that have lived the rural life.
Don Coen also likes to think of what a friend once told him about the significance of his art long into the future.
He'd say, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take your paintings and we're going to load them in an airplane. And we're going to fly them out over a civilization that knows nothing about you or the life you lived. And we're going to throw them out the window and they're going to filter down to the ground. And he said, people down there are going to pick them up and they're going to look at your paintings. And he said, what will your paintings tell these people about you as a human being and the life you lived? And I think that's, to me, is what art is.
Find out more online at doncoen.com.